Well, it's Saturday the 22nd of June. We're in the midst of the meat grinder. It sucks. I hope everyone is okay. This is episode 1912 of 301 Permanently Moved Online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded, and edited in 1 hour by me at the JMO. Well, I'm back. Thanks for listening, if you're still around. I've missed 2 weeks, and I'm not bothered about it, but it's always nice to keep a streak going, and breaking it always makes you feel sad. I missed the first week because I was terribly sick for like 3 days. Friday morning, all through the weekend. It was brutal. I didn't have a cold, but it was like a full body thing with a temperature, and my body just demanded that I slept. It was annoying and a bit stressful as I was trying to finish up my talk for Bordersessions festival in The Hague, which incidentally was where I was last week, which is why there wasn't a show. My talk was called Solarpunk and the Great Unfolding, Building Keystones of Continuity. I talked a little about the history of solarpunk and stepped the audience through some of the key posts and events like the publication of the book in Brazil in 2012, Adam Flynn's notes towards the manifesto, Miss Olivia Louise's post cohering the aesthetic of solarpunk, Andrew Dana Hudson's on the political dimensions of solarpunk, solarpunkanarchist.com, and the rest. It's also getting to the point where it's difficult to fit all of the anthology books that have been published all on one slide, which is a very good situation to be in. I talked about unfolding, short-term thinking, and indeterminacy, how our quote-unquote modern management techniques shrink time and don't let us grasp the enormity of the task ahead of regreening the world. It takes about 100 to 120 years to get an oak tree from acorn to full canopy height, and all of that is short-term, so anything beyond 2150 is the medium term in our thinking. This whole section can be summed up in the slide, we have 10 years to save the world, but it's going to take us 100 years to do it. I talked about how I'm already tired of the Anthropocene, as the arts and humanities worlds flog that horse to death, leaving very little utility left in the term, as it represents what the philosopher Peter Stolderjek criticised as the kinetic nihilism of modernity. Oh, the Anthropocene, I hear. Yes, we know, I always think, but what exactly are we supposed to do about it? So I brought up the term the Anthropogreen for the first time. Thank you, Gordon White, as a counterpoint to the Anthropocene. The Anthropogreen, a new geological epoch defined by the outcome of a different sort of human intervention upon the Earth. A global planned but locally integrated landscape, shaped by a civilization with gardeners' hands. A patchwork of areas of mixed stewardship and land use with some left to play out to nature's brutal but beautiful reality. I talked about the surprising fact that if you plant 1 billion trees, then they grow, pulling in the previous talk on oak trees and short-term thinking. The closing part of the talk pulled in some of the work I've been doing inside Lander's platform, that in the face of the momentum of climate change and the world that will begin to flower around us, we need to consider modular elements that can be reconfigured and redeployed to prospect new potential lines of development. We can't overplan the future down to the finest detail, but we can flesh out a high-level consensus that makes sense within the context of local land, topology, and our time. Showing folks pictures of things like keyline design, sprawl repair, and the work of DPZ, the Eden Project, and Loess Plateau, etc., really helped to close out the talk with some optimism. Anyway, I do have a recording of the talk, but it's pretty terrible, and I'm not sure if I'm going to post it or not. I'll see. But the talk went well, though, and the people in the audience seemed to enjoy it. I also got to attend a workshop at the New Institute in Rotterdam on the zoop, an outgrowth of the multi-species workshops I attended last year as part of their Terra Fiction series, both in Rotterdam but also in the Hague in Amsterdam. It's a very exciting project. I've said it a few times in various places, but the level at which the conversation is at around radical regenerative and regreening projects in the Netherlands are so much further ahead than in the UK. In fact, many of the building blocks or foundational views and assumptions that one needs to make in order to participate in the conversation are not really hurdles at all. Everyone just nods and moves on. In the UK, however, there'd be instant pushback, a back and forth around something or another, something someone disagrees with, etc. Perhaps in another 5 years or so, UK folks will be where the Netherlands creative worlds are, sitting around a table where everyone is familiar with the need for context in the holistic management framework, etc. It's so refreshing. So anyway, a big thank you to the team at Bordersessions for such hospitality, and the Rotterdam folks at the zoop and the New Institute, and also a big thanks to Ian and Thun for dinner when I was a loose end on my final night. I had a great time. Cheers.